Today I am employing my husband to help me. We're going to show you how we make homemade soy candles. You guys saw me making these and everybody was messaging me wanting to know how to make them. So we made just the other night 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 9 of these. Pretty fast, it's easy. The difficult part is if you wanted to do a layered look like this. Otherwise, we're going to show you how to make a very simple one color candle. It's not hard. What you are going to need, here's what you have to have. You need to have jars for your candles. This is just mason jars that you can buy at Menards or places like this. You could also, this one is an old sauce jar that we just cleaned up. You could do something like that. You're going to need wick. Now I'm going to show you, on the post on this, I am linking to all of the products that I'm using because I do think they're important. I am using a all-natural hemp wick, and what I'll show you is I'm going to cut this to size. I think this is fantastic for making different kinds, but also this particular kind of wick burns much slower and colder, which means your candles burn slower. They don't burn as quickly. This is also eco-friendly and all natural. So that's what you need. So we got a jar, we got wick. You need wax. Big old giant bag. This is soy wax. Soy wax has a lower melting point than like beeswax. It's also environmentally friendly, and it's fairly easy to work with. Did you know that if you buy a soy candle from the store, that as long as it's 51% soy, they can label it soy, even though they might use paraffin instead for the rest of the product. So this is how you guarantee you're getting soy. Beeswax is another option. Beeswax, however, has a higher melting point, which means it's a little harder to work with, and it's much more expensive. So, whatever you prefer. So that, and then we have, for us, this is what we're going to use. Big old giant Pyrex measuring cup in the microwave. That's it. These are the must-have ingredients, but I'm going to show you some other things that are going to help you out. This actually came with my wick. These little guys, these are wick tabs, they call them, and I'll show you how they work. You put the wick through them to attach it to the bottom. And then I purchased these separately. Again, this link is going to be on the post. These are little stickers that are heat proof, right? That you stick these to so that when you put it on the bottom of the jar and pour the wax in, that hot wax doesn't move it all over the place. Super helpful. Then, if you decide you want to have color, like I have here, this box is about $20 for wax dye, and I'm going to show you what this looks like because you're going to go bonkers. Comes in these little packages of all of these different colors. You need about 1 or 2 of these little chips for an entire container of melted wax. And you can see that the amount of, we did a gradation here, and that's how much of those little chips you put in will change the color. You do not need very much. This is going to last us forever, ever. And then if you do want to do scented, which we have done scented, we've done lavender on these. I'm using lavender essential oils. If you want to do that, I'm sure they make oils for candles, but I don't see why you wouldn't just use essential oils. So that's what we've used. So I'm going to show you how this is done. I'm going to have my husband come over first. We're going to start on the wax because the wax needs to be melted in the microwave in 1-minute intervals. And so he's going to keep working on that, and I'm going to show you how that works. So he's going to fill up this glass jar with this soy wax. Okay, so it's filled. And don't worry about it overfilling because it's not going to overfill. And then what color should we make today?
Christmas.
We've got
Christmassy, red or green.
We got this hot pink. Should we do a hot pink?
Sure.
That's not very Christmassy. And we got green. All right, green it is. So then we're going to take one of these little guys. We're going to do just one. I'm going to show you how small this is. Super small. Pop that in just on top. And he's going to go ahead and start microwaving this 1 minute at a time.
Okay. And the one thing, tell him, don't freak out because this melts at the very end. So like you think it's not working and then at the very end it works.
This is a hotter melting point than this does. So it takes a little bit more heat than this does. So it will eventually melt. Go for it. We'll show you. All right. And then while he's doing that, I'm going to show you how to get your jars set up. I'm using a plain mason jar and I'm going to take my wick. I gotta find my ends. And you want your wick, I actually like to go to the end of the counter, kind of like how you cut flowers. You want your wick to be up out of the top of the candle quite a bit. So I'm going to go about 1.5 inches out of the top. Borrow that. Okay. All right. And then there are 2 ways you can do this. My husband has one way he prefers, and I have another way. You take your tab and the bottom of your wick.
Flip it around.
Oh, sorry. One way that he likes. I'm going to do it my way first. I'm going to show you my way first.
Yeah, but then...
Go this way. Pull it through. And then you just twist it around the other piece of your wick. So it looks like this. The other way that you could do this, which is what he prefers, is pull it all the way up through there and then use the pliers and crimp the metal. My fingers aren't strong enough. I don't feel like digging out of pliers.
I can get you pliers.
So I'm doing it this way instead. Okay, so we're going to twist that.
I got to stir the...
So I'm going to twist this around the very bottom, like so. So that's nice and sturdy. And then I'm going to take one of these stickers off of here and stick it to the bottom of this, like so. Okay? Get your jar, and I'm actually going to have a scissors handy because it's helpful. I'm going to take this tab off of the sticker, and then I'm going to let it kind of fall down at the bottom of the jar, and then it sticks pretty quickly. And then I'm just going to take the sticker or the scissors and help it stick. Now, if you decide not to use the stickers, what you can do is a little bit of melted wax on the bottom of that tab. So if you decide to skip the sticker, put a little bit of melted wax, stick it, and then pour the rest. You will still have a little movement, so you might have to kind of sit this in there. Okay, so then you can hold it like this while you pour if you want to, and then you're going to use, one of the easiest things to use are actually clothespins. There's a tiny little hole right in that clothespin. And you want to put this all the way to that tiny little hole. And if you use these jars, here I'll show you, this would sit across perfectly. This jar, it's not going to sit across perfectly because it's a little bit wider. So let me show you what you're going to do. You're going to get wooden skewers or some sort of a heat-proof dilly-do thing like this and wrap your wick around that. Can you see that? And then just twist it up until it's nice and tight and your wick stands up nice and straight. Let's see if you guys can see that. Okay? Now you can do this after you pour in the wax, or I'm doing it right now because he's getting the wax ready. And then this is ready to go ahead and pour your wax directly in, and it's basically done. So then the other thing that we're going to do, of course, is we want to make some scented candles. And we're going to add in our oil after the wax has been completely melted through. Then we're going to put the oil in, give it a quick little stir, and pour it in. It is a bit of a trial and error for how much oil. I suggest about 5 to 6 drops of essential oil, but it really depends on how strong you want your smell to be and how strong your oils are. So let's see. Nate, this one's green, so what do we want to use? We want to use peppermint. I have peppermint. I got rosemary.
Yeah.
Which one?
Peppermint. You have or pine scent.
I don't have a pine scent. I have eucalyptus. What does that smell like? Oof, no. That's not going in a candle.
Rosemary.
Rosemary is lovely. And then we have peppermint. What do you guys think? No, we're going to go with rosemary. Okay, so now we're going to have this ready for him to come. I'm going to set this aside. One of those big containers makes about 1 jar. And this big old giant bag was, I think, like $26 for this whole 10-pound bag of soy candles. We're going to get about a dozen candles out of it, depending on the size of candles we make, of course. You'll get about a dozen candles. And it equals out to about $5 per candle. But I want you to understand that these are soy candles. They are scented. They're all natural. They're very, very, very low. They have a very high time to burn, meaning that they take a very long time. So we've been burning a candle that we made for, oh gosh, like 8 hours, and it's only down to like right here. And what will happen is that soy will melt down, and then it will re-harden and continue to burn it down. I don't even know if I'm looking at the right spot. The other thing is that this wick, because this is the kind of wick I chose, you won't get a black plume out of it. It will not, also it will not get black on the glass. It burns nice and clean and burns nice and long, very slow. So this is going to be a $5 candle, which is kind of expensive, but it will last you a very, very long time, and it's well worth that money. Again, you could go with cheaper products if you wanted to, but you will have to make them far more often. So don't do it. Use these products. The other thing you can see is that we did add little bits of lavender into this one. So I took dried lavender and I kind of just dropped them in. And sometimes I took some of the flowers off of there, did it that way. In order to achieve this layered look, what you need to do is you need to pour one of the layers, let it cool, pour the next layer, let it cool, pour the next layer. We kind of cheated a little bit and put it in the fridge to cool a little faster in between layers. But if you have a full day, go ahead and pour a layer, go do something else, come back later and do the next one. It's not, especially with these gradient colors, because we can use that same measuring cup and it's not going to mess it up with the different colors like mixing together. So I really like using the gradient like this because it's pretty simple to do. How are we doing there?
It's getting there. I think we're at 5 minutes now, probably.
Okay, 5 minutes. It takes about, I'm going to say it takes about 8 minutes. Yeah. What do you think?
It hits a certain
takes about
it goes fast.
8 minutes or so. And even when you see it start to melt, don't take it out and continue stirring it thinking it's going to melt. If it's not melted, it won't melt out of the microwave. You need to put it back in the microwave and let it go for another minute. Of course, be careful. This is hot wax. He's almost done, so hang tight. So we're going to show you what it looks like.
It needs, I'd say, 2 more minutes.
Okay.
Maybe 1.
2 minutes, 1 minute. So have you guys ever made candles before? Are you going to try making candles? I think it's going to be, these are for Christmas gifts. I think these are very, very charming. I would love getting one of these. At least I would. Nate, maybe not so much. He's not such a candle dude. But I think he appreciates it when I like something, right?
I do. It's the best.
So what did we make yesterday for Facebook Live? I forgot what we made yesterday. Oh, I put up the bacon jam again. For those of you that had missed the bacon jam, everyone was asking for it again, so I put it up again yesterday. And we got a lot of questions about that. Like, how do you eat bacon jam? My answer is with a spoon, but we like it on burgers, BLTs, toast, anything like that. It's really good. And then on Monday, Tuesday we did homemade jam. 3 ingredient strawberry jam. I added a little bit of red pepper. You guys suggested that, and it was good. It had a nice little end to it after it was sweet, but then it ended with this nice little bit of spice to it. Really recommend that.
You want to see how this little...
Yeah, that's okay.
The dye is just starting to melt.
So this is when the wax is actually ready to be poured, but the color wax has a higher melting point, so it takes just a little bit longer. So we're going to put it in for one more time just to get this piece melted. Okay? And you see how that big chunk melted right on down. So
about half.
Yeah, it's about half. So you put in about 4 cups and you come out with about 2 cups of actual hot wax that you can use for your candles. So we did these in batches. It's really easy if you do this in batches. And if you wanted to, you could certainly use a big giant pot on the stove to do it. I just don't like the idea of cleaning that. So that's why I like to use that measuring cup. But we do these in batches because it's just nice to get them all done. One big project, one cleanup. Then you stash them away for later. And this is a great way to recycle those jars that you get sauces in it. Let's say you go and you see that jar of jam and it has a beautiful jar and you want to buy the jam just for the freaking jar. Now you can. You know what to do with it. So someone asked me about these. There's 120 of these, so they make 120 candles, and it cost me $7.99 for this whole package, and they are a lifesaver. Honestly, I would absolutely get these every time. This I believe was $19.99, but it has, how many feet was this? 200 feet. So how many candles is that going to be? A lot. Okay, so here's our wax, and it's colored, and you can see how dark that color is already with just that one chip. If you wanted to deepen the color, you go ahead and you add in more. It just depends on what you want to do. What do you think? Should we go with this color? I think this is going to come out a little bit pepperminty.
Yeah, it actually, that color, when it dries, is actually lighter than
that. So you can see here that it dries a little lighter than you think. So let's put in one more of the green.
The green. The other thing you can do is you can add this stuff to that once that tablet's melt. So you could, instead of keep on microwave.
So if you find that your if you find that your color turns out too dark and you don't like it, you can always add in more wax and so we're gonna put one more in, pop it back in the microwave for 1 more minute.
And but we have hit the right temperature because this is starting to melt.
So 1 more minute. So we're only at 15 minutes, you guys, and we're gonna make 1 candle. Now, if you did it in batches, you would get. How long did it take us to make these candles? I think it took us maybe an hour and a half to do all of them. It was.
Well, probably about 2 hours, but we're doing other stuff.
But we were doing other stuff. They're also scented. They're also colored, so it's a little bit longer. But it's not too bad. It's 2 hours.
You could set up to do a lot more.
Yeah, you could do giant batches if you wanted to. And if you have a pot that you don't care about and you're gonna make them all one color, you could totally do it on the oven, and heat that wax. That wax stays hot for a really, really long time, so you'd be able to pour out a lot of them. But again, I think there's nothing wrong with doing it this way. And we're doing pint jars. I mean, if you were gonna do this, you might even want to go, I'm going to go half of this next time, smaller ones, and I'd get 2 candles at a time. So, this is going to burn. I'm going to have this smelling candle for like months. It's going to take forever to burn this one down. All right, here we go. So, deepened up that color. Oh yeah, that's much better. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our essential oil. I'm going to put in five drops. Hopefully it's not gone 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, that's like 6. Whatever. Something like that. You can smell that. It smells like rosemary. It's lovely. All right. And then, now normally I pour this over wax paper. I don't usually pour it straight on my counter like this because I don't trust myself. So I usually have parchment paper on a cookie sheet. We're going to put this right in here. You can see we're up to there, and I still have a little bit left. So we might find a small jar and make another small little candle.
I'm on it.
You on that? Just make sure that this stays nice and tight so that your wick runs up straight. And then all you need to do is let it sit overnight. And you will have yourself a beautiful candle. I'm going to show you one more because we're going to use up a little jar.
Trace.
Ooh.
That one says redneck juice on it.
I'm going to use this one. This one's kind of cool. So I'm going to do one more here real quick because we have that wax to use up. Cut your wick. Run it through your wick tab. Pull it around because your husband doesn't like it this way, which is more fun. Stick your sticker on the bottom. Now, when my husband and I do this together, it works really well because he melts wax while I get them ready, and the two of us together get it done really fast. There's that. And perfect. It's a perfect amount. And I need one more skewer.
I did cheat because we have the markings on the side, so I knew which size to grab.
Oh.
Because it is a measuring cup.
Roll that up so it's nice and tight. It's trying to unwind for me. Okay, and so now we have 2 candles. Ooh, that's hot. These will dry in overnight. They'll actually be dry in just a couple hours. They'll cool down. And that's all it is. It's that easy. So head to the post, grab your ingredients and our materials, and go make some candles for Christmas gifts this year. Okay, bye guys. See ya next week.